Opening with the king's pawn controls the center and opens up the light-squared bishop and queen, often leading to sharp games. E5 is a common response that establishes a presence in the center, controls d4, and opens up the queen and dark-squared bishop. The Vienna opening starts with knight c3, which defends the e4 pawn and controls the d5 square. By delaying knight f3, white keeps the option of playing f2, f4. Knight f6 develops the knight, attacks the pawn on e4, and controls the d5 square. Knight f3 develops the knight toward the center and attacks the pawn on e5. Knight c6 develops the knight toward the center, defends the e5 pawn, and controls the d4 square. d4 takes space in the center, attacks the e5 pawn, and allows the dark-squared bishop to develop. He takes d4, captures the d4 pawn, and opens up the center. Knight takes d4, captures the d4 pawn, and places the knight in the center. Bishop b4 develops the bishop and pins the knight on c3 to the king. Knight takes c6, captures a knight, and forces black to double their c-pawns. B takes c6, captures the knight, controls the d5 square, and opens up the b file. Bishop d3 develops the bishop toward the center, defends the e4 pawn, and prepares castling. d5 takes space in the center, attacks the e4 pawn, and controls the c4 square. This frees your pinned knight, which allows it to defend another piece. This misses an opportunity to castle kingside. Castling protects your king and activates your rook. It is best to avoid doubled isolated pawns. That was a brilliant sacrifice. After all captures, this is an equal trade. You are threatening to tactically win a pawn. This threatens to capture a knight and win material after the follow-up trades. You prevented your opponent from being able to tactically win a knight. This misses an opportunity to develop a piece while also winning a tempo on a knight. You found a safer square for your pawn. This threatens to capture a knight and win material after the follow-up trades. You win time by threatening a bishop. This blocks an attack on a queen. This move is okay, but not what I would have played. This wins time by threatening a rook and forcing it to move away. A good choice to move your threatened rook. Black's piece has moved to a square with greater activity and control. You want a pawn for free. Right on target. This is a fine move. This overlooks an opportunity to offer an equal trade of pieces. You gain time because your opponent must deal with your threat. This blocks the attack on a queen that could have been captured. Your rook takes an open file, a good way to activate the rook. This creates space for the king to move in case it is attacked. You create luft for the king, providing it an escape square. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. You've moved your piece to a powerful square. This protects the attacked pawn. Nice, definitely the right move. This fights against the other rook for the open file. You trade off equal material. Recaptures. This pin ties down their knight, reducing its flexibility. This defends a knight that was under attack and had no defenders. You sacrificed your knight, a stunning move. Takes back. There was only one good move and you found it. You offered your opponent the chance to trade off equal material. This captures a queen that checked the king. Your rook eyes the open file, which helps control critical squares. This evades the check from the rook. Your opponent's attacking piece is gone. This is a fair move. That pawn was yours for the taking. This move puts the bishop on a safer square. Good job, that's what I would have played too. A solid choice. Activating your king is critical in the endgame, and getting it off of the back rank is the first step. A very strong play. Yes, this is the way. Taking that pawn wins material after the follow-up trades are made. Nice, definitely the right move. This offers an equal trade of pieces. That was an even swap of material. Recaptures. Your passed pawn is one step closer to promotion. One of the best moves. Passed pawns must be pushed. This moves the bishop to a more active square, making it. Your passed pawn advances to its goal. A solid choice. That pawn chain will help strengthen your pawn structure. A very strong play. Good job, that's what I would have played too. Black has got rid of their isolated pawn and improved their pawn structure. Your opponent has to watch that passed pawn. One of the best moves. Yes, this is the way. A solid choice. Your passed pawn is one step closer to promotion. This is the strongest option. This move wins a bishop. A very strong play. Nice, definitely the right move. One of the best moves. Passed pawns must be pushed. The bishop finds a new active square. This moves your pawn to a safer square. A solid choice. That pawn chain will help strengthen your pawn structure. This evades the check from the pawn. This leads to winning a pawn by using a fork. There were worse moves, but also something much better. Your pawn now promotes to queen. This loses a bishop, but the position was losing no matter what. Getting closer to the forced checkmate. You can win. You're continuing down the road to checkmate. You captured that free bishop. Very precise. You continue the checkmate attack. This makes a passed pawn. Your move gets closer to checkmate. Right on target. Always feels nice to win.